Yesterday, my life was headed in one direction. Today, it is headed in another. You ever think the universe was against you? Fear, belief, love, phenomena that determine the course of our lives. These forces begin long before we are born and continue after we perish.
Our lives are not our own. We are bound to others, past and present. And by each crime and every kindness, we birth our future.
I will let you go again. I believe there is another world waiting for us, a better world. And I'll be waiting for you there.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
outlawradionetwork.com. I had to say it. I couldn't even tell you why that's become a thing or why Kevin hates it. I don't think we actually own outlawradionetwork.com anymore. I think that was years ago.
No,
because
we
do have that again.
That's our website.
Okay, that's the website. Okay,
yeah.
I just
why is it a thing for him?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's the hemorrhoids interacting with the word .com or something. I don't know. I'm just kidding, Kevin. If you're listening, we all love you. You and your hemorrhoids. We take you all in one giant lump sum. For those who are wondering, Kevin at this moment is not here. He is officially on assignment. By the way, it's on aisle B12. It's next to the other creams, Kevin. And I'm just kidding. I love you, brother. Love you. So it's good. I hope everybody's enjoying this incredibly wet, miserable. You could use the word moist if you want to. Yes. I'm not hearing her microphone. I hear your voice, but I'm not sure I'm hearing your
moist.
There it is.
Whoa.
Yep.
That's really loud.
Yep. There it is. I heard you that. She breaks out with moist, and I hear her plain as day.
Moist.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I didn't unmute her. I thought she was putting things away.
Oh, well,
sorry.
I think technically
Dang.
she was, but
like a good friend says, every time I think, I weaken this organization.
Okay, that's not a bad line. We should put that on a T-shirt. Every time I think, I weaken the whole organization.
Now, the correct quote was, every time you think, Lieutenant, you weaken this organization.
Oh,
that is, it is. You tell people my kids and friends, they frequently ask, what was it like being in the Army? What was it like being on tanks? And I'm like, it was a rush. It was a blast. Mm-hmm. It's like some people like 4-wheel driving and 4-buying. It's like I went 16 buying in a 55-ton vehicle doing 35 miles an hour over rough terrain, firing a bullet that weighed 90 pounds and hit a telephone pole 4 miles away. It was a badass experience. I mean, it was so it's so badass. It's even hard to describe. Now, I never went into a combat situation.
Mm-hmm.
My tank was painted during Desert Storm. We were ready to go, but literally the game didn't last long enough, right? The reserves didn't get put into play. Mm-hmm. I'm not complaining about that, but to be honest, when you spend all that time training and you're amping yourself up and you're getting in your mind, you're getting ready to go. It's actually almost kind of a letdown when you get there and you're like on the sidelines and then you don't get in. You're just kind of like, damn, I was all amped. I was already, but it's one of those things you take it as it is. And it's really a hard thing to explain to my wife at the time. She had asked me after 9/11 because 9/11 happened.
Right.
And my son Hunter, who's now active duty Army, was 3 months old. And
I didn't realize. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's
he was
right.
born just before 9/11. And my contract was up in December of 2001. And so my wife at the time was like, look, this is like, it's here, it's on our home soil. We don't know what's going to happen. She's like, I would prefer if you were here, if you stayed home
to protect.
Yes. And so I think that was the first moment of adulting in my life, to be honest with you, because I had to sit down and really think about that and say to myself, I want to be there. I want to be with my men. I want to be with my unit. If we're going to war, I'm not going to leave them right now. And here's my wife. We just had a kid. Like I need you here. I want you here. And eventually, now there was nothing. She didn't put any undue pressure or anything else. But I erred on the side of making my wife happy, and said, okay, it took me a few months to make up my mind. And it's not like I mean, I took it super seriously, but I ended up deciding, okay, I'll ETS. I'll get out. And at the time we had just bought, cause I was in the National Guard. And at the time we had just bought Classic Billiards, the all ages billiards parlor.
Oh yeah.
It was it was a family business, family run. It's not like I had to stay, but it just, having that business was like having another child. And
very aptly put.
Yeah, I felt in my soul that the right thing to do was to stay with my wife, because we didn't know what was going to happen. I've never concealed carried. I've never had my concealed carry permit, but I open carried for about 2 months after September 11th, just because I could not get it out of the back of my head.
Oh yeah.
Where might be next? What might happen next? And it was the first time I looked up the concealed carry laws and found out, up until that point, I did not realize that Washington State's an open carry state. I had no clue. So I've open carried for about 2 months during that time period. I've never gotten my concealed carry license. Katie, my wife, does. She has her concealed carry permit. And I think she has the most valid, reasoning behind that. She's like, I was a victim once. She was like, I will never be a victim again. And I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
In fact, and it's interesting because the only issue I have ever had with a gun in my life with anybody was while I had Classic Billiards. I was working there one night, and it's for those that don't know, like in downtown Bremerton, right across the the Narrows Bridge, there was a Godfather's Pizza and a Black Angus restaurant and everything right there on the corner, right before you'd come over the bridge. And Classic Billiards, our pool hall, was kind of in the back, and it was a little bit dark back there in the one corner. Well, we were an all ages alcohol serving establishment. We operated under a restaurant license. We were one of only 3 places in Washington State at the time. Because we were all ages, we didn't have a separate area, 21 and over area. Because it was like a restaurant. Our pool tables were treated like tables in a Denny's,
Yeah.
So anyway, I had this cop in an unmarked car block in. I had some people pull in, which I assume were customers, whatever. I don't know. But I saw this unmarked car block another car in a parking spot in my parking lot.
Right.
And I see this guy out, and I can't, it looks like he's wearing civilian clothes. I can't see what he's doing. He's got his head in these people's car. And then my customer's like going, man, you got some guy here who thinks he's impersonating a police officer and he's messing with your customers. And so at that time, I'm like, okay, I got to do something about this. I can't just let this guy accost my customers in my parking lot. And so I went outside and asked him to identify himself. And instead, so he pulled back the corner of his coat and flashed his badge, which was on his belt. And he was like, here's my ID. Okay. Well, I was like 30, 30
Right.
years old at the time, young, dumb, full of myself.
Mhm.
But I did know and understand as a tax-paying small business owner that I expected a certain level of decorum from police officers. This happened to have been a state patrol officer who was in an unmarked car. And so I, all of my customers are staring at me, right?
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Because now you're
Yeah.
the entertainment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And of
Mhm.
course, half of them are drunk.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, this is awkward. I'm sorry, sir, that's not good enough. If you could step down here into the light, please. I've got a bunch of customers here and all they see is you in the dark
Mhm.
accosting my customers, Then he flashes his gun and goes, how's this for ID? Oh, hell no.
Was he wearing a uniform?
No.
Oh, so he was
part-
undercover.
He was
as
undercover.
well
He was part
and
of a
unmarked.
yes. He was part of a
Oh.
detachment whose job it was to go out and get people that were driving aggressively on the roads. So he was in an unmarked vehicle and he was not in a state patrol uniform. Anyway, I happened to have known at the time, I was going to paralegal school at the time,
Mhm.
and for whatever reason, a few months before, I'd happened to do this paper, whatever it was on, but I had looked up the law that talked about vehicles. There are only, at least at the time, I don't know if it still is this way, but there were only certain vehicles that
Mhm.
you could pull people over for and give them a ticket.
Mhm.
You could not do it in a completely unmarked vehicle. You could only use those for observation by Washington state law at the time. So I'm
Mm.
like, this guy's in an unmarked car. It might have even been his own private car because there
Oh.
was no exempt on the license plate, no nothing, no radio, and I was looking in the car and I was seeing nothing. So anyway, ultimately, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure this guy's a cop. But now I kind of have this situation in front of like 40 customers, and
Right.
my customers need to know that I'm going to defend them and I'm not
Right.
going to let them get accosted in my parking lot. And so I had to keep kind of pushing the issue until the cop expressed a level of decorum that I felt was appropriate.
Mhm.
I ended up calling his supervisor,
Okay.
demanding that his supervisor retrain him because I'm
Mhm.
like, 9/11 just happened, dude.
Yeah.
Your officer flashed a gun at me, and
Yeah.
that stuff can get somebody shot right now in this country.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm not carrying, but I'm in charge of all these customers that are here in front of my establishment. And yeah, they're not supposed to be carrying, but let's be realistic. A lot of guys still carry.
Right.
And
Especially ex-military.
yes,
Yeah.
and in a military town and in a country that just recently has gone to war.
Right.
Yeah, it was. So it quickly devolved into a screaming. Oh, he was yelling at me. He put his ball cap on. His ball cap was hitting the brim. He was pissed off. Like, what is your problem? Why are you interfering with I'm like, dude, I don't know who you are, what you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was
Well, and
horrible.
not only that, but let's look at it from a different point of view. Is this road rage? Him and somebody else?
God, that
Or
didn't even cross my
is
mind,
this-
but that's a good
is
point.
this domestic violence because
Yeah.
maybe his significant other is out with somebody else, so now he's doing
Yeah.
that? I'm not trying
Thanks,
to.
Lori. I didn't none of that stuff even crossed my mind,
Oh,
man.
That's the first things that are going through my mind as you're telling me about this.
Yeah.
Is why is he doing this?
Yeah.
Why is he doing? You said sticking his head into
Yeah, he had
their
his
car.
He had his head in these, and it was a couple of young high school kids.
Right. Without a
Yeah.
warrant, you can't be doing that.
Yes, exactly. And I didn't even. Again, I was still young. I had only
Right.
been in college to be a paralegal for like 6 months at the
Mhm.
time. I was learning just enough to be stupid. Like I think I actually regressed and became more stupid because at the time you're learning, oh wow, there's all of these different laws that are designed to protect me and give
Right.
me my rights. So I
Mhm.
was learning just enough to not be as smart as I should have been about stuff, And so I was being bold, with this officer in the sense that I'm like, well, you need to step in the light. You need to identify yourself.
I
You're
don't-
an officer of the law, and I'm like, now that when I look back at it though, I'm like, oh God, that was dumb.
No.
I
Was
just,
it? Was it really though? You're asking a reasonable request of
I
him,
was,
right?
I was,
I mean-
and I was being very reasonable.
Let's talk about it. How many fake badges?
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's
How many people, especially in the last 5 years? I don't know about 2001, but in the last 5 years, how many fake police
Yeah.
officers?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're right.
I'm in
Yeah,
an
there's been quite a
unmarked
few.
car.
Yeah.
Or they have a car that's painted similar to the local police department. They have the little metal
Yeah.
decal or magnet decal that they've got on the side door.
Or better yet, the ones that they buy from auction, which
Yeah.
are the old police cars,
Yeah.
and they leave some of the accoutrements on
Yeah.
there, and so yeah, when you see them, you
And-
kind of get the impression, oh,
and there's another .com where you can order specific lights
Is there really?
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
Mhm.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
If you ask, they need to show their police commission card. Is it a police commission card, or is it just their police ID or their badge?
I think it's
I don't know.
I think it's like a business card with their
Okay.
badge number on
Okay,
it.
that makes
and
sense.
It's reasonable for anybody in the field to have like a business card unless
Oh,
they've
absolutely,
handed
yes.
them all out.
Yes, and this
But
was in 2001.
when
And
business cards were big, and so were Rolodexes.
Yes, and when I asked him to see his ID, that's when he pulled his jacket away so I could see, because he had his badge like on a clip on his belt.
Right.
So he pulled it back, and that's when he was like, "How's this for my F and ID?"
And he shows you his gun.
Well, you could see
Oh.
the gun, but he didn't flash it. I could see it, right? So I'm like,
Still,
it looks like a legitimate ID, but still, Hi, Jeremy. It's good to see you too. I hope that you are happy.
hey, Jeremy.
You're a Dallas fan, so I use the word people lightly. I'm just kidding, brother. It's good to see you on there. It's good to see you on there. So yeah,
Wow.
it was just one of those things where you look back on it and you're like, well, could I have handled it better? I'm not sure that I could have, because he was really brash. Like, he was an arrogant cop, and he was a younger cop.
Mhm.
And so anyway, I ended up going through the channels, and I ended up
Mhm.
getting a hold of his captain on duty.
Mhm.
And I asked, I'm like, dude, I'm at work. I've got an entire bar full of customers here. And he
Right.
did all of this in front of all of my customers. And so I had to, do what I needed to do to show my customers that I will support them and defend their rights and everything. He's like,
Mhm.
well, what do you want me to do about this?
Mhm.
Well, your officer clearly is in need of some additional training.
Yeah,
'Cause of-
because that's illegal search and seizure if he's
Fourth
poking around
Amendment
in the
violation
car.
and all that stuff. Yeah. And so I insisted on it. And I said, listen, I got all these customers here, and they're going to want to know,
Yeah.
what the resolution was for this. So I said, here, what I think is fair is that you provide the business here with a written letter showing the retraining that the officer was given.
Mhm.
Because I was thinking in my mind, look, I was, I'm in the military at the time, and
Right.
I know if I screw up,
Yeah, you're
which-
going to get retrained.
and so that's kind of how I approached it. And
Mhm.
it was funny because unfortunately, like less than probably 6 months later, I had a situation where a group of us needed to do exactly that and get retrained.
Mhm.
And it is a humorous story, which I don't mind telling, no matter how embarrassing it is. So there, over at the Yakima Training Center, you have these raised.
Yes, I know it well.
Yes, the roads are raised slightly, like they're like 2 feet above the billets, right? So
Oh, yes.
yeah, so
You mean actually in the training center?
yes.
Yeah.
Why?
And then
I
the
couldn't-
highway is elevated quite a bit.
And so we were coming back from breakfast one morning, a few of us, right? And we're lower.
Wait, you got to leave
Well, we were.
and go to breakfast?
Well, yeah, we had. I mean, we had our tanks were there, right? So when we would go train, we would go to the Yakima Training Center.
Mhm.
And anyway, actually, I think it was 6 months before that. Yeah, because 9/11 had happened, and I got out in December. Anyway,
Mhm.
so anyway, we're walking back from breakfast. Now, in the Army, you wear your rank and insignia on your collar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the Marine Corps, you don't. You wear it on your shoulders. Okay. So we're walking back, and this guy's walking towards us, and he's like, hey guys, morning. We're all like, hey dude, what's up? And like a few seconds later, we hear this voice from behind us go, hey.
Mhm.
We're like, we turn around, like, yeah, what's up, man? He goes, don't they teach you how to salute in the Army?
Oh.
And then he tips his shoulder so that we can see his captain's insignia on his shoulder, right? And we're like, one of the guys that's with us is like, yeah, well, they also teach us where to wear our rank. Whoops.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not a good.
Yeah. Chris,
good
if
response.
you're listening, I've never forgotten this incident. And so, yeah, that turned into 6 hours worth of classes where that captain made sure we all got retrained in how to properly identify and salute officers of different branches of the military. Yeah, that was, good times. Good times
Oh.
that was.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Oh man, if you could have carried me like a 6-pack when they were done with us, man, because our captain was
Oh, I
he
can
tore us a
imagine.
new rear end, man. That was something else, you know.
Just as a civilian, anytime I was on like a naval air station,
Mhm.
which I occasioned to when I was very, very young, I was just told to either
The way
be-
you say that, like I'm thinking officer and a gentleman. Like I used to go to the base.
no,
Yeah.
no, very, very young, like preschool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was taught that if you don't know, it's just yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
For sure.
And if they kind of look at you, you either wave like you're a cute little person or you salute,
Yeah.
and then they'll correct you. And I was like, okay.
We always joked, when in doubt, whip it out.
Yep.
Not like that, people. Not
Yeah,
like that.
not a sexual thing.
But you know, you just when in doubt, you just salute. And we didn't do that clearly that morning. And yeah, that was bad juju. Bad juju.
Wow.
But
It is interesting the things I've heard about. This obviously being a civilian, I only hear the stories about the military. Like one friend of mine, he was in the Army, a warrant officer.
Mhm.
Hang on, I think this is Jeremy calling. Hang on.
it might be. If it is, hi Jeremy. I don't know what you want, but it might. Hopefully, it's a short conversation. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, snap.
I'm having fun. So we might be able to be joined by Kevin in a little bit. I did speak to him on the phone.
Oh,
and
good.
and his assignment was playing out well, and he was hoping
I'm
to
glad
just
to hear
finish up
that.
with it. Yeah.
All right, it's
so it was all
the
good.
friendly neighborhood Trojo on the line. But
Hey,
here's-
Trojo.
before you get him on
What's
there,
happening, all you happy people?
Shiny happy people.
Shiny happy people.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Shiny happy people.
I still hate that song, but it's okay. You're cool. Happy holidays, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Well, I'm doing okay. I've was recently, you know what? I'm happy for my Dallas Cowboys. Let's just start by there. How about them Cowboys?
Well,
Thank
they
you very much for that
smoked my
compliment, Kevin.
Seahawks. I'll give plenty of credit where credit is due. I will say this, man. It's really been a bummer because I see, I was really looking forward to some good things this year, thinking that Seattle's quarterback had gotten past all of the things that plagued him in his youth. But I think that new contract may have gone to his head because his performance has not matched that new contract, and that's sad. That's sad.
It's amazing how that happens, huh?
Right? Yeah. You wish it didn't, man, but it surely does. And I'm surprised by it. He spent so long in the trenches as a backup. I mean, he appreciated it.
Oh yeah.
And he really,
absolutely.
I think I honestly think it's more of the mental aspect of it. I think that he probably had a bad game. And the mental part of it started just building and building, and he hasn't been able to overcome it. Just my opinion. I'm certainly not an expert, but I play one on the radio.
He really didn't have a bad game against Dallas. I mean, heck, he actually had a great game against Dallas.
He did have a pretty good. Listen, brother, we had to score 3 times just to get 7 points. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that. No Cowboys. But no, on some of the subjects that you was talking about, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today, and they was telling me about they passed, and they've got a pretty crazy pass. I mean, heck, unfortunately, they've been arrested like 35 times. They got 6 felonies, but they cleaned their past up. Yeah, they was arrested 35 times, got 6 felonies. But they cleaned themselves up. They turned their life around. They literally, actually, they're doing great. They're giving back to society and running. They're a manager of a store, and they haven't been in any trouble in almost like 8-9 years.
Good for them.
They're doing what they're supposed to do. But because of their past, obviously, they can't own guns. They can't even legally own a taser. Right. They can't even work somewhere that owns a taser or anything. And so the question came up. So, okay, so if you started a relationship with someone
Jeremy, we're coming back from break. Save that thought. Stay right there, okay? We're gonna go to break. When we come back, I'm gonna actually have you kind of start this over to fill everybody in. Outlaw Radio Network back right after this.
.com.
That's it. I figured it out. Now I know why Kevin hates.
a little bit of cowboy fight song music from the 60s.
Is it? Some of that some of that music, and
yes,
I know
it is.
Jeremy too. I mean, I know you guys know some of this older music. I grew up listening to radio on the weekends with my mom and dad, and I don't remember the name of the radio show, but they played funny songs. Like from the 40s, 50s,
Oh,
60s,
yeah, like
and
big
70s.
band.
Yeah, and things like Godzilla, 8 Tukwila, and just
Oh, that's from the 70s.
Yes.
I have the record still.
Yep. all kinds of just fun stuff like that. And now I still go. There's one called Dear Mr. Custer that I will like never forget. And it's sung as though it's a soldier. He's going, I don't want to go, right? And he's and the whole song is about Custer and his men riding off, and he's like, I don't want to go. Anyway, things like that. It's just kind of funny. We don't have songs like that anymore, except for maybe Weird Al Yankovic, but his stuff gets a little bit. His stuff, like I could not put on a Weird Al album and just jam to it. I just couldn't. Like his songs for me are good once in a while mixed in, but I'm like I could never buy one of his albums just to play it and go, yeah,
They were more fun when my kids were growing up.
For sure.
Middle school,
sure.
Elementary, they loved it, and
yes,
it was risque.
Risque. All right.
My kids now like you Weird Al. They like listening to some of the older stuff. I introduced them to, of course, Eat It. I Lost on Jeopardy, and cause I'm fat. Oh yes. I introduced them to more the more mainstream ones, and that everybody knew.
That's right, brother. So you were telling us a story there while we were at break. So let's put it in reverse for a second. Take a step back and tell us this again. If I understood you correctly, you got a friend of yours that had we'll just say a few instances where they had run-ins and arrests, troubled past. There we go. And he's since cleaned his life up, right? So let's start there.
Cleaned their life up. Haven't had any troubles in probably 7-8 years. They're manager they're actually a manager of a convenience store and making pretty decent money from what they came from.
Gotcha.
Think they are averaging like something close to like $60,000 a year or whatever.
Gotcha.
From a troubled past to actually being a citizen and paying taxes and loving it.
Nice.
But because of their checkered past, they're not allowed to own a gun, and they're not allowed to. I mean, they legally, by the paperwork they was telling me, they can't even legally carry a pocket knife. They can get arrested on site if they call it a pocket knife. They can
Hold that thought.
Hold that
thought. Hold that thought, man. We got to come back. Hold on. Outlaw Radio.
Your butt is wide, well mine is too. Just watch your mouth or I'll sit on you.
Okay, that was well done.
Fact. Did you guys know that Michael Jackson has writing credit on that? Because
on this song?
Yeah. Because
you know what? It makes sense. I mean,
right.
Weird Al pretty much used everything but the lyrics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they say
that one, Eat It.
Yeah.
They say Michael Jackson actually allowed Weird Al to really use the set. Like it was a really cool thing.
That is cool. That is really cool. I think people forget because of the bad publicity around Michael, they forget all of the incredible stuff that he did for not only the industry but for his fans and other performers. I will never forget watching how literally badass his lead guitarist is when he passed. I don't remember her name, but that lady she looked like Lita Ford, man. And holy cow, could she rip it on that guitar?
And also on, I believe it was Beat It. It was Eddie Van Halen doing the guitar.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Really?
Or was it
I didn't even know that.
I can't remember which one. But anyways, Eddie Van Halen said, "I will do it, but I don't want credit. I don't want anyone to know. I just want to do it for fun." And Michael Jackson went to another soundstage to check out something lyrical. Mm-hmm. And when he was gone, Eddie Van Halen rewrote the whole guitar solo and the placement in the song. And Michael Jackson came back and Eddie played it for him the new way. And Michael was like, "Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
You've got it. You know what you're doing."
That's some of these internal stories about how the music is created. It's made how the artists sit down and they get inspiration.
Oh yeah.
I love the different ways that the different artists go about it and their creative stuff. So anyway, okay, Jeremy. So let's get back to your story.
Sorry, Jeremy.
All right. So again, had no idea we was on break the time, but you know what? I'm still happy to be here with y'all tonight because it's been a while since I've been in studio, and Hopefully one day I'll be able to make it back in the studio soon. But anyway, as I was saying during the break, friend of mine, had to check a pass to clean himself up, running a convenience store, making somewhere close to 60, 70 grand a year.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that pass, they're not able to, they literally can't own a gun. They can't own a pocket. They can't even legally walk down the street with a pocket knife without getting arrested if they get caught with taser, nothing. It was like, how does that work? They can't work in a store that sells guns, and they can't have any guns in their house. It was like, so let me ask you, so the question I was like, okay, so if you can't be in a house that has guns or anything, what if you get into a relationship with someone, that relationship blooms, and this person has a spotless record and they're allowed to have guns?
Yeah, that's a great question. The part of that I'm aware of is that if you are a convicted felon, you cannot own guns. You cannot be in possession of guns.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because I have a particular family member, one who is married, right? And one
Mm-hmm.
spouse is a convicted felon, can't have any guns or anything else. But the wife can. But there has to be a clear differentiation between who has the gun, who has access to it, etc.
Right.
Now in Washington State, you can petition to get those rights returned once you have paid everything off and you have no money owed. You've done your time and all of that stuff. So Sean is correct. Yeah, they can petition to get their rights restored. Absolutely. I've never heard, Jeremy, about anybody who's told you can't even, because you can't, if you are a convicted felon, for example, and you go to somebody's house, you aren't in control of whether or not somebody has something when you walk into their house. You're not in control of a store, for example, when they walk in there. And I've never heard of somebody not being allowed to even own pepper spray or a taser or a knife because they're a convicted felon. I don't believe that's...
It shocked the heck out of me, too, until they showed it to me. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So it was literally a court order. I was like, how did they even make this legal?
Is this like quick question, because I don't know the answer, is if it's federal, like a federal felony charge, is that different than like a state?
They had a couple of federal. They had,
and then
I'm willing to bet that it is, and I know that I'm not up on federal statutes and laws with that stuff. Phil,
I was going to say, just to be, help promote argumentativeness, which is fun. Just explain to the officer when next time you get arrested, I'm sorry, I can't be in your car because you have guns in here, and it's not allowed. So
yeah, that's a fast trip to jail.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
I'll go ahead and walk.
Yeah. I'll walk to jail, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just like the argument being posed when we had to stay 6 feet away, and the officer kept running back, kept walking up on you, and you kept walking away from it. It's like, stop running! I'm trying to stay 6 feet.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have to wear a mask outside, Ossifer.
So, Jeremy, you saw a court order for this?
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of shocked the heck out of me too.
Is it like children involved too? Because I'm just trying to understand how
definitely
the court,
was some extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, how the court can order that unless
it
was part of a
involved?
plea agreement and the friend agreed to it. That's the only way I could see that. Is a plea agreement to avoid prison or something.
Maybe a condition of release maybe if the person was a habitual offender and weapons were involved.
Oh, like I said, they've been arrested. I'm sorry, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like I said, what the listeners didn't hear at the very beginning, they've been arrested at least 37 times, and they've got 6 felonies.
So that's a lot.
I didn't catch the 37. I heard 7. Sorry.
That's a lot.
Yeah, they've been arrested 37 times, and they've got 6 felonies. 3 of those felonies was fighting with the cops.
Oof.
So
there you go.
The crazy part about that is, though, nowadays, the way things have gone over the last 10 years, like you could get that many charges over one drunken bar fight, and you're too drunk to realize it's cops you're fighting with. Next thing you know, you got 5 or 6 felonies from one thing that occurs. It was the biggest reason why I'm a big proponent of criminal justice reform, because I'm a strong believer that there are multiple layers to our justice system. And I know Phil's got it. You go ahead, Phil. You throw your question there.
I was going to say, I'll give for instance that, and then I'll give the alternative. If somebody's been drinking and someone, let's say that person is of the female persuasion, and somebody decides to take her home and have their way with her, she might claim rape. She couldn't consent to that.
Yep.
Yes.
Correct.
Now, you get into a fight. Can you consent to that fight?
If you are part of the fight, if you're throwing,
I'm sorry, officer,
even if it's
I didn't
defensive
consent to that
punches,
fight.
yeah.
Then if you don't consent, then it becomes assault. It is, and cops and
Yeah.
Jeremy probably can talk about this because you've spent a lot of time as a bouncer. Cops will tell you if two grown adults go outside and throw down, right, and both of them are consenting to it, they're not going to arrest you, and because they're like, nope, you two both consented. You chose to do this. So it's when one person doesn't consent that you have the problem.
Did you consent to the officer? I'm sorry, officer, I didn't consent to your assault.
I didn't. Well, yeah, that's a whole nother
let's
issue.
see if that
right
works
there.
out.
Is it a Terry stop?
I
Or,
realize it
Yeah.
doesn't work that
stop
way.
and frisk. What's going on here? Yes.
So what happens? Okay, so let's take the example of two people go outside. They're throwing down. Let's, for gender's sake, it's men, right?
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
She
Because
said for gender,
I don't
she said for gender's
see,
sake.
I don't see it could happen, but I would see this more in the heat of the moment with men. And one of them ends up going to the hospital. Is that still where the officers are going to say, "Yeah, no, you guys"?
That's a great question.
Or-
I've never encountered that.
Or one of them passes, unfortunately.
Well, then that certainly becomes, at the
Because
very
that
least,
becomes-
involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to
So-
say some sort of manslaughter.
Yeah, Phil.
I was going to say it's the difference between the police getting involved in inserting themselves in their dispute versus one of the persons deciding to press charges against the other.
Yeah.
That's
Though it's interesting because like in Washington State,
Mhm.
that's not how it works, right? You can't
Yeah.
tell the cops, I don't want to press charges, or I want to, because the way that it works here is they're doing it for the public good, right?
Mhm.
And so that's the sit rep. It doesn't come down to you as the victim or whatever. And I can tell you that I know that Jeremy and I even chewed some of the same grass working up, bouncing at the same bar for a couple of years, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What was the name of that place, Jeremy? It was up on the Kitsap, the Garage. Yeah, that was it. The Garage.
The Garage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean it, and I will tell you right now, people think that there's there's these great relationships between bouncers and cops. There ain't. I had cops flip me more grief when we called them, like, you got quit calling us or stop serving alcohol, and it's just like, come on, man, oh, dude, I'm telling you, man. I think it was one of my last nights there, and it was Halloween, and I mean, I had a girl dressed as one of them girls in the baseball league thing, like Madonna, hit me with a wiffle ball bat about 400 times, and I had another chick that was there. As I was dragging her outside, I dropped her in the puddle, and as I went to come back inside, I couldn't move my leg because she was biting my calf, and
I
would
was
not
about to
let
say
go.
that was the night that you got. That was the night that she clamped onto you like a pit bull and wouldn't let go. And
My God.
Dang.
And I'm like, the bartender, the head bartender, Annie's like, just hit her, Paul. Just hit her. Kick her in the face. And I'm like, oh my God, there's like
It'll
30
be the last
people.
thing
Yes,
you
there's
do.
like 30
Yeah.
people standing
30
here watching.
witnesses.
This drunk chick's, she's outside in a puddle of water like 2 inches deep, and she will not let go, and she is clamped on, and I can feel her starting to draw blood, through my jeans. And I'm just like,
jeans.
oh my God, oh boy, that was,
I remember that it was probably one of the nastiest looking bites I'd ever seen, especially through jeans. If you wasn't wearing jeans, she just took the plug out of you like a zombie.
Yes.
It was bad.
That was, I think that was probably one of, if not the last night that I worked, because I was like, yeah, the extra money ain't worth it no more. Because I remember looking at that and I'm like going, if I got to go to the hospital and I catch some disease from her or something, I'm like, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it at all.
Illinois?
No.
Well, you know what makes that
thing?
particular type of job even more fun is when you have to, as me as a bouncer, have to take a woman out who's claiming to be a man, and then after I have to take them out, now everybody's like, man, that's a woman. It's like She said she was a man.
Jeremy's like, I put my arms around her neck. I felt that Adam's apple. I'm pretty sure that wasn't no chick. Yeah.
I mean, she was, she said she was a man, but that's where it gets convoluted because
yes,
now they're saying that I assaulted a woman when she clearly says she's a man and she wanted to fight me like a man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she
wait. Are you talking about experience? Did you like legitimately get into a fight with
a woman that claimed to be a man, but I did legitimately choke out a man who was born a woman.
What?
Okay.
Wait, what?
Okay, so you choked out a trans person who was born a woman, was still a woman, but was dressing like a man.
They wanted to fight.
They wanted to fight like a They wanted to fight like a man,
instead of the fight.
So that what you're saying to me
is leaving like we asked them to, it's like, please leave.
They quickly learned the difference between a man and a woman, didn't they?
And it's unfortunate that happened, but yes.
Okay.
And again, what people need to understand is in the training that I've had through the military and all of this stuff, when those of us that work as bouncers who have been military trained, when we are attacked, we don't see male or female. We see an attacker. The job is to stop the attack. It doesn't matter if it's male. It doesn't matter if it's female.
Yeah, see,
the cops themselves don't differentiate between male or female.
Now that was
the attack.
That was the difference between you and I. That's why you were always put up front and you were the cooler, because you were 6'0" and everybody thought they saw you as harmless, and you had a way of talking people down. Then, like you said, you didn't see them as man or woman. And I guarantee you, that night that chick bit me in the calf muscle. All I saw was a chick. And I was like, I can't do nothing to her. This is a woman. Everybody's videotaping this. There's phones all over the place. And I'm like, as soon as I do anything, I'm going to become infamous. Yeah. And that just, Yep. That's all I kept thinking about. I was like, Annie, the bar boss, is back there telling me to just punch her in the face. And all this. Nope. I wasn't going to. I'm like, I ain't going home and walking into my house and have my wife see a video like that and then have to explain myself. Like, I just, wasn't going to do it.
That becomes an issue.
I've never.
Sean says I would have kicked her in the face.
On a woman?
Yeah.
I've never thrown a punch on a woman, but I have had to put them down.
Yes.
And the main thing is stop the attack. Stop the assault.
Yes. I could do, and I will tell you this, Sean, and you're right. I would have been justified in kicking her in the face. I don't dispute that. And it probably would have been the smart thing to do. But all I ended up doing was putting my knee on her cheek and then, going all kinds of Derek Chauvin on her face. I just ended up, I just ended up putting my full weight onto her face until she couldn't hold the tooth lock anymore. And then I don't know if it was her boyfriend or her husband or whatever it was. As soon as she let go with her mouth, he like drug her through the parking lot. And she was drunk. Oh my God, was she drunk? So she probably didn't feel it till the next day anyway. So, it was all good. But there is a ton of stories. I'm telling you, man, if you want to sit down and be entertained someday, sit down and talk to bouncers about what life is like. Working up straight up high-tech Magnum boot to the nose. You know what's funny about that, Sean? I was wearing high-tech Magnums. I always wore them when I was working as a bouncer and frankly, I still wear them a lot today because they are very comfortable boots. But I will tell you this, and I started wearing, last summer, I bought my first pair of Under Armour boots. And oh my God, if they weren't so damn expensive, I would wear nothing else the rest of my life. They are the most comfortable
very,
boots
very comfortable.
I have ever worn in my life, but they were like $200. And being a contractor, shoes and boots don't last long, but those Under Armour boots lasted me a year. But at $200 a pair, I'm like, I don't want to drop that kind of money once a year for a pair of boots, man. So, but the high tech Magnums, man, definitely a close second. As long as I'll tell you, man, I don't know about you, Jeremy, but I can't handle wearing the steel-toed ones. I just can't.
No,
my feet.
I hate steel-toed.
Yeah, they
feel
bunched up in the end there, man, and it just doesn't work for me.
Oh man, they're just not comfortable. And some military Magnums, it doesn't matter. Redwood, Red wing shoes. It don't matter. They're all uncomfortable. It's just, I hate them.
And no matter what you're wearing, you almost, whenever you got a situation you're dealing with, it's like inevitable that you're always wearing the wrong outfit or the wrong clothes, or they don't fit right when you got to run or you got to fight, and you just it's just terrible. How's that? Give a plug for where you're at now. Where are you working now?
Yeah, you know what? Now I am the head security guy at the club that just opened up. We opened up in August.
Right.
At Eden Nightclub and Lounge.
Yep. That's where my bar used to be. Classic Billiards.
Yes, that's where I was just about to say, where Classic Billiards used to be, and so for those who've been in this town, know where it's at.
Yep.
And we are still a growing business, still trying to find our footing. But it is very fun to come in. If you haven't come in, we're only open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night.
That's
and
okay.
So we are
keeps the overhead down.
Yeah, we are an actual nightclub. We're not a sports bar pretending to be a nightclub. We wanted to bring the vibe of Seattle nightlife to Bremerton.
And how's it working out, man? I mean, you guys getting the crowds? Are you getting the customers in?
We are actually starting to grow. We are averaging probably on a Thursday night we average maybe like 150 people, but our Friday and Saturday night we are averaging somewhere close to like 200 nights. And then on our special events, I mean, like our special events, like like a couple of weeks back, we had this event called Emo Night. Emo.
I saw you advertise. Hold on. Okay, and now nobody make fun of me for this. And by the way, so Phil is playing footage from Inside Eden while we're talking.
Actually, it's just their homepage.
Their homepage. Okay,
they got a very active homepage.
That's good. So listen. First of all, you're not a paid advertiser, right? So we always do this stuff for local businesses for free because it's good for the whole community. And so let's get that out of the way so that if anybody has these weird thoughts that we're doing something, we're not. It's all good. Anyway, are you guys getting the kind of crowds that are making you start to feel comfortable, like the business is growing in your building?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, we are definitely starting to. We play to all different genres. Like, say for instance, this coming Sunday, we're actually going to have a drag show there. You know, so it's going to be a drag show.
You're going to have a lot of.
I never thought
a lot of kids there.
No,
that's a joke, Jeremy. That's a joke. Total joke.
That's a joke. And the heck with you for it, but I did get a joke. Yeah. But no, like this weekend, this coming Sunday, we're going to have a drag show. Now, so normally we're only open on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, on Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, we will have special shows like this coming Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone wants to get in contact with us and they want to put on a special event, we're looking to expand it on adding live band, comedy act.
Boy, I don't know what the bar scene is like anymore in Kitsap County, but that was one thing that was always sorely lacking in this county, was a venue for live bands. And I think you and I probably would always agree on that. So kudos on you guys for opening it up for live music. Now, you're open, like you said, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Did you say and Sunday?
We're open this Sunday for a special event.
Okay.
So normally we're not even open on Sunday.
Okay, so you're open 3 nights a week
this coming week.
Right? 3 nights a week normally?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, on those nights, do you do a different theme on each one of those nights?
We do themes on most of our themes. Now, our Thursday night is particularly normally ladies' night. And for those who know what ladies' nights are usually the busier night. So
not ladies of the night, just ladies' night.
Not ladies' night. Ladies are in free.
Yep.
All night long. We don't. By the way, we don't open until 8:00.
Okay.
And sometimes what people don't seem to understand, because we are a nightclub, not a bar, we're not open all day.
Sure.
We open. People show up. We do get a lot of people that show up, but there's no one here. Well, we literally just opened up. We don't open until 8. And as the bars go, when people see there's no one there, they think, oh, well, I don't want to be here. But then they come in, they walk around, they see the place, they're like, oh my God, there's really nothing like this in Kitsap County, because there's not.
Yeah,
there's not.
There's no. We've had nightclubs throughout history here, one there, stuff like that. But usually,
Right.
like, you've got a great location. I know because I owned it for a while. Right there. I mean, it's really centrally located. You're right off the main drag. Ingress, egress is easy. So that's all great, right? Centrally located within the county. That's all great, and it's big enough square footage wise. So that's all great. So we've had nightclubs.
6,500 square foot of usable space.
Yeah.
7,000 total.
Yep. You have no pool tables anymore, right?
No, we actually added a pool table.
Oh,
we actually added a air hockey table. We actually did add a beer pong. So, because what we wanted to do, we wanted to give people something to do when they come in, not just to walk in and hear loud music banging, go up get a drink, We still wanted to give them something to do to, give them experience of wanting to come in and stay, have a little bit of fun, The pool table is free. The air hockey table is free. And I'm the air hockey king now. So, anybody want to come challenge me.
Okay. Question out of the chat room. What kind of steps or measures do you guys take to guarantee safety of your patrons?
Oh, well, see, the beauty about that is I am the head of security, and because I have the experience of this, anytime anybody walks through the door, before they can even come in, there's not only pat downs, but we wand them. They get wanded, they get pat downs. For females, females get ready before you walk in the
Jeremy, do you pay her?
Do I pay her? No.
Yeah,
I have a female that pat.
Wanda, does she work for free?
We wand. You're so funny.
He's messing with
we
you.
wand them down. Metal detector.
Okay, I got you.
So
I got
funny.
you. I got you.
We wand them down with the metal detector. For our female patrons that come to the bar, just be prepared. I know y'all like carrying your purses, but in my experience, I do realize that unfortunately, the ladies are the ones that bring more stuff into the bars than the men because they wear the big purses. The purses, I personally go through literally every single pocket on the purse.
Well, that's fun.
With a flashlight.
That's fun.
So if you got a big purse that's got 3-4 little wallets in it, just know you're going to have to open them up because we're going to see what's in it.
You go looking for anal beads when you pop that stuff open, don't you?
So.
And you have parking lot security
by
too?
The way,
you have parking lot security too?
Yes, we do. We walk the parking lots absolutely with flashlight. If someone's going in and out of the club too often, we give them fair warning that, we are watching them as they go to their car. If they come back from their car and we detect that they've been drinking or we've noticed they've been drinking, they're not allowed to come back in.
Yeah. Now, I'm just going to say this to you, Jeremy, because I love you like a brother from another mother. All right. Do not take a black light to the roof because Kevin spent a lot of time up there with Holly Kelly. All right. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. He's been open and honest about it, but I'm just throwing that out there so that you're
but
aware.
not about the person.
Yeah.
We refurbished and cleaned everything.
As you should.
That's good. So, for people that are wondering, that's not Holly that always puts the nasty, hate-filled comments in the chat room. Not that Holly.
Not at all.
You should have just let it
go. Yeah, I probably should have, but I'd have gotten more hate.
You should have stopped right there.
Yeah, for sure. So you were saying, so ladies' night is Thursday night. What's Friday night?
Friday nights we do have certain theme nights.
Okay.
All right. So like this coming Friday, I believe we are having old school 80s, 90s. Old school 80s and 90s. So come on out, dress up in your 80s gear, your 80s and 90s gear from back in the days, and come out and have fun with us, because it's going to be old school night.
I still have my parachute pants and my Michael Jackson
and
jacket.
your neon shirts.
Yes.
Let's go,
dude. I still wear silk underwear and stuff, man, and have the silk shirts. And man, I feel
TMI,
so great when I wear that stuff, man. Oh,
let that be the last time you tell us what type of underwear you wear. Okay.
God, it's so comfortable, Jeremy. You got to try it, man. I'm just telling you. There is nothing like silk underwear on the face of planet Earth. You will feel so free. It's almost like you wear.
I don't wear underwear, so TMI anyway. Moving on.
Good Lord. So all right, so we got Friday. On Friday nights. So because women are free on Thursday nights, Friday night, what are you charging for both sexes to get in? And if trans people come in, do they got to pay twice?
We make it simple and easy. You in the door before 10 o'clock. We open at 8. In the door before 10. It's free before 10. Excuse me. It's $5 before 10, and then after 10 o'clock it goes to $10.
Okay.
So we make it simple and easy, and that's for everybody all the way across the board. Okay. So we open at 8. From 8 to 9, it's free. Anybody come in before 9 o'clock is free, but usually the people don't show up. From 9 to 10, it's $5. From 10 beyond, it becomes $10.
Okay. Now, are you guys serving any kind of food as an alcohol serving establishment?
Yes, we do serve food. And please don't try to ask me what we have on that menu right now, because I will not be able to tell you. But yes, we do serve food.
It's okay. It's no worries. No worries. It's a nightclub. People ain't going there for the cuisine. So, all right, stay with us. Hold on. I'm going to finish this up with you when we come back, but we're going to go to break. Thanks for listening. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
Nice.
And you're listening to my friends on the Outlaw Radio Network.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when you got kids that are texting you in the middle of. My kid's like, "Dad, I'm coming to your house to get my bag. Can you call the other kids inside and let them know?" And literally, I'm like, "No, not really. I can't. Sorry." You're 12. You'll figure it out when you get
there.
Tell
the kids to call in.
So right,
Dad.
Yeah, I'm just watch this. This is the beauty of live radio and talk to text. Hey, just go in when you get there. I'm live on the radio right now. There we go. That was easy. Anyway, so we've got your price established on your Thursday night, your Friday night, and your Saturday night. Tell us about your Saturday night.
Saturday night, as far as the prices go, it's the same as our Friday night.
Mm-hmm. Theme.
And the theme for this coming week, I want to say it's a black light glow party. If I remember right. So
you got a goat party?
Black light glow.
Black light glow.
Party.
Glow party.
Black light glow party.
So they're going to be looking at that ceiling.
Yeah,
so you come down. So you come down, and we got the glow in the dark paint. You can paint yourself. Got a candy.
You're doing a black light glow party like that, Jeremy, and I know that you're always looking for a nice chick to hook up with. All you got to do is find them chicks in the white clothes with spots all over them underneath that black light, and you're good to go.
Harmony gonna be there? Never mind. Anyway,
I know what I thought I heard you say, but I'm pretty sure that that's not what I heard you say. So I'm just gonna leave it alone right there.
Yeah. Leave it alone, Paul. Leave it alone.
Yeah, leave it alone. Okay. So keep going.
Sure glad we're at break right now, right?
Do you guys ever do like you ever have a disco night?
Yes, we do. You know what? Let me see. I want to go to see if I can pull up our events coming up.
Disco night would be fun. I wouldn't mind going there for a disco night.
Then you can wear your silk shirt and your silk underwear.
I'd just wear the silk underwear, man. I mean, Why not? The worst style in the history of
I
mankind,
appreciate your confidence.
Yeah. The worst style in the history of mankind, though, was definitely bell bottoms. I just, even I look at that and I'm just like, why? Like,
doesn't the Navy still
yeah,
incorporate those?
Yes. Yes. And there's a practical reason, isn't there, Jeremy, for naval personnel to wear bell bottom pants? Come on, tell everybody what the reasoning is for it. Come on, tell them.
Well, I don't know if they still wear the bell bottom pants anymore, but
the dungarees, right? When they're on ship and they're out at sea, right? They're still, I think they are.
The dungarees, you could actually dunk them, and you can turn them into floaties.
Yeah, which is why they got the extra big, and you tie them off, and you can use it as a flotation
extra
device.
Big bell bottoms. You could actually dunk them, and you could actually turn them into everything that the military had back in the day. The Navy.
It's a good practical reason for
was designed to be flotation device from that little white hat.
Yep.
From that little white hat all the way, everything that was there, all of the clothes were designed to float.
That's right. Unless, of course, you remember the USS Indianapolis, in which case you were shark food.
Yeah.
Look it up, folks. Look it up.
And then that was that.
Yeah, that was a terrible joke.
That went straight to dark.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it did. It did. So, Jeremy, I know we can't keep talking about the nightclub all night. So what I want to do is give you an opportunity to give it one last good push, put all the information out there about it, to let people know. And that way we've got that out of the way. And man, you've been a part of this show for so long. Anytime you want to call in and talk about any of those special nights or whatever that they got going, man, just give us a shout, man. Put the information out there, because we'll absolutely. Put it out. It's I've never made it a secret, man. Anybody that's running a small business in this community, I pull for them. I am always willing. We're always willing as a show. And as a team to put out good information about them at all times. So hang with us, Outlaw Radio Network. Thanks for listening. Be right back.
This is Spike Cohen, the reigning and defending Libertarian vice presidential candidate, and you're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
All right, Jeremy, I got a serious question for you, man, and I need you to give this.
I got an answer.
I bet you do, and I need you to give this some legitimate thought, okay? No BS, no games, straight up, legitimate, honest answer. All right? I know you're a football fan, okay?
Mm-hmm.
After what San Francisco did to the Eagles, right? Are you feeling pretty confident about your Cowboys? Are they gonna take their conference?
Honestly, I do believe Dallas is going to take our division. I don't know if they're going to take the full.
Yeah, I meant division too. So I thank you for setting me straight on that one.
Yeah, I think they're going to take the division. I don't think they're. I don't honestly do. After watching San Francisco overall as a team,
they're good.
I don't honestly think anybody with this healthy San Francisco 49ers team is going to be able to do anything with them.
Yeah, they're
right
really
now. If I was to say, from an honest football standpoint, football IQ, no hate. Right now, I would say the front runners for the Super Bowl are the 49ers and the Ravens.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yep, I think you're spot on. All right, let me ask you this one: college football playoffs.
Oh Lord!
Now we got.
You're stirring the pot tonight, aren't you?
Well, listen. It became it's a national story that we had our first undefeated Power 5 conference team in Florida State got left out of the playoffs.
Yeah,
and they got circumvented for 2 1-loss teams, not one but 2 1-loss teams, as they were undefeated because and the committee's excuse was, well, they lost their quarterback, so they're not a great team anymore. I get all that. That's not what I'm asking.
That's decision to make.
Yeah, they did. But I'm asking you, Jeremy. First of all, Michigan, Alabama, who wins?
Over the history of the college football stuff, it's always unfortunate when Alabama gets into the playoffs. It's hard to bet against Alabama.
Yeah, that's
It's
true. Nick
so
Saban
hard
has
to
some
bet against
serious
Alabama.
jujube, and that guy is.
Jeez, when they get in, man.
Yeah.
I mean, literally every year I've said it's not a matter of who. It's not a matter of if Alabama's going to get to the championship. It's who they're going to play.
Yeah. Nick Saban knows how to win those big games, man. All right, so game number two, right? University of Washington and Texas. By the way, for those that don't know, in last year's Alamo Bowl was your University of Washington Huskies against these same Texas Longhorns, in which University of Washington won 27-20. So anyway, Jeremy, who wins that game?
This is a rematch.
It is.
This is going to be a good game.
I believe so, yeah.
Honestly, I'm a favor Washington.
Okay.
I'm a favor Washington in this game because watching what they've been doing this year, it's hard to bet against them.
Yeah.
And that being said, me being the Texas guy that I am, I wouldn't be mad if the Longhorns won.
Oh, for sure.
But football IQ says I believe Washington is going to win this game.
Yeah, and I will tell you, there's a connection there between Texas and the University of Washington, right? In Coach Steve Sarkisian, who was the coach of the Huskies.
Oh,
yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so, and this is Sark's first trip. It's the first time that he's won this many games in a season. And so, God bless him. He's a hell of an offensive talent. Hopefully he's not still a drunk. Which is, of course, why he lost his job. No, that was a
condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, any future coaching job, he has to prove his sobriety.
I felt bad for him because when you heard the whole story, he was having marital problems, and that's kind of what led to his drinking. But I liked him as a coach at the University of Washington, and I'm really happy that he's kicked it back up to that elite coaching status down there with the Longhorns. So that's really cool. Now, if we've established, Jeremy, because you're right on the same line, you think Alabama's going to beat Michigan and University of Washington is going to defeat Texas, which is kind of the conclusion that I came to. Washington and Alabama for your national championship will be a phenomenal game because you're going to have a mediocre offense in Alabama against a mediocre defense in Washington and a probably top 5 offense in the country in the University of Washington against a top 10 defense in Alabama. So, but Nick Saban is so good at what he does.
Nick Saban.
Yep.
Saban is the X factor.
He absolutely is. 1,000%. 1,000%. So I think it's going to be a great game, provided that all lays out that way. Now, let's not forget when Washington went into the Pac-12 championship game, they were the underdogs. They were 9.5 point underdogs to Oregon, right? Everybody thought that Oregon was going to beat Washington. Washington dominated that game. That game wasn't as close as the score indicated. Oregon could not stop them. Washington's front line dominated the game. Their defensive line dominated. Oregon ran for less than 2 yards per carry. It was good. I was shocked, and I've gone back and watched the game twice because I love college football. And there's one more thing that a lot of people aren't aware about. Washington gets a boost for the national championship game. They have a 4-star recruit defensive end that is a monster who had to sit out this year because of his transfer portal.
Oh,
and he will be able to play because he's been cleared now by the NCAA to play.
Oh, so he can play.
He can play.
Oh,
yep, he gets to play in the. I mean,
X factor on our side.
Yes,
he can play. He can play.
Yep, which means that Washington will have 3 NFL caliber defensive ends rotating in and out constantly on defense, which is that's a game changer. Conceivably.
Yeah. That's huge
and fresh.
Yes,
if you think about it, as long as he's been training all this time,
he's been playing on the scout team the whole year.
Yeah.
In fact, the University of Washington players ran this little deal where they basically, his name is Burfree or something. It's an interesting last name, but they basically had this saying all year long, hashtag free, and then they had his name, free him. because the NCAA was holding him back and keeping him from playing.
Yeah.
So, interesting stuff. A lot of cool storylines, man. And it's going to be a lot of fun watching the championships. All right, Jeremy, anything else, man, that you want to throw at us here before you go? And make sure you put some more good plugs in for Eden.
Oh, yeah. So Eden Nightclub and Lounge, as I was saying, we do have a great place for everyone to come hang out. It's a good spot. As I said, located in the same spot that Classic Billiards used to be located in, right there off of Wheaton Way, and the address slips me right now. 2780 Wheaton Way, I believe, is what it is, if I remember right.
2784. 2784.
Excuse me, 2817 Wheaton Way.
That's
what it is.
That's it. I got it wrong too.
2817.
Yep.
And like I said, for those who just want to come out, dance, have fun, in a nice, clean atmosphere where you don't have to worry about if someone's bringing weapons.
Is it a dress up? Do people dress up when they go in there?
You know what? I did write a dress code. I cut back on the dress code just a little bit. If people choose to dress up, I would love to see people dress up. This past weekend, we actually had a best dressed contest, just to show you how we like to diversify. We had a best dressed contest, and it was a very good turnout for it. Be surprised how many people love to dress up and come out and win a prize for it. I do want to make a couple of corrections on what I was saying. Our neon black light party is actually this coming Saturday.
Okay.
And on the 16th is when we're going to be having our 80s, 90s throwback show. But that's also an Christmas ugly sweater contest.
Do not invite Tom.
Hopefully the bouncer will keep him out. Right?
Yeah.
And
he thinks it's cute cutting the nipples out of his sweater, and he's got these two hairy ass nipples that are pierced, just hanging out for the whole world to see. It is. Well, I'm telling you,
forgot the ornaments.
He
had ornaments hanging off of him.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
It is funny how much it bothers you, Paul.
Wait 1 second
God
for that.
Almighty.
Let me just finish this up for that ugly sweater contest for that same night on the 16th. We are also having our winter coat drive. So if you want to bring in and donate a coat for people that's cold, and you can bring in sweaters, you can bring in blankets. What we want to do, because it's wintertime, is we want to try to make sure that we have people the people stay warm this winter, because you got a feeling this is going to be a terrible winter based on projections. So it's our winter coat drive. But if you don't want to have coats or anything to bring in, please come in and donate blankets, donate anything that you can to help keep people warm this winter.
I love
that's
that.
on the 16th.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing that you guys are doing, man.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So,
and one more thing before I let everybody go is you asked me earlier how I was doing, and I said I'm okay, I'm all right. You notice I was dancing a little bit. Well, a few days ago I've been going back and forth to the hospital. About a month or so ago, I started having headaches.
Yes.
We waiting for the results. The one thing that we do know for sure is there is something going on. We just don't know what yet with me. But the lump that's growing out of the side of my neck does indicate that there's something not good.
Yeah. Well,
so
hopefully they're able to do necropsy. I'm sorry. Wait, is necropsy the right word? Is that the right word? Biopsy. Sorry.
Biopsy.
Yeah, biopsy.
Necropsy
on dead people. Yeah. Well, hopefully they're able to biopsy. Get all the information and get you taken care of, man. And so I know that you've alluded to some health things going on, which is why I wanted to ask, and I appreciate you being honest, because everybody that's listened to this show for a while, knows you, is familiar with you. And they understand where you're coming from, and unless your name is Holly, everybody here, cares about you, except that. But it is what it is. So anyway, man, we truly wish you the best and hope you get better soon. And again, you're not working down there on Wednesday nights, brother. So, whenever you want to come up and swing in and stop by, it sounds like Wednesday nights might work. Well, Sunday nights, you're not down there either. So, but I know you got your kids on weekends too. So anyway, brother, stop in, say hi, enjoy the evening. Let's come up with some good ways to throw some legitimate, serious shade on Kevin, because God knows he needs it.
Of course.
Somebody needs to humble him, because even God is not as full of himself as Kevin is at times. So,
oh Lord,
I mean, that's right.
Oh Lord,
like
Lord.
like
this is true.
if Jehovah was going to be introduced for an event, he would not have the song "Glorious" playing for him. But Kevin, as we all know, certainly will. So,
oh yes, he will.
Maybe something like "I Touch Myself" by the B-52s. I don't know. Just something, a little bit more intimate, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for the call, Jeremy. I appreciate it, brother. I hope you're doing well. And like I said, come in on a Wednesday night, man. Just kick back and relax with us for a bit, all right?
All right, I will. I will, absolutely.
All right.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Brother. Thank you,
Take
Jeremy.
care.
Yeah.
So for those that aren't, Jeremy's been on the show with us for
long time.
Well, since Moby Dick was a minnow. He's been here a long time. Unfortunately, like Jeremy, the minnow eventually got caught and eaten.
Ouch.
But no, he had to. He's got his kids half the time, and so with work and stuff, it definitely conflicted for him frequently, because he works at car dealerships during the day, and at nights, he's working. At Eden and some other places. So, but it's all good. And so now, we had a lot of fun here at the beginning of the night, and now we've got a few kind of more serious things to hit on. Lori?
Before
yes, ma'am,
we go serious, just everybody remember, share the show, because if you share the show and you're not part of the show, you get entered into the raffle for Outlaw Radio Network merch.
Yes. Share, like, subscribe, smash that button, whatever button. I don't know what button, but I always wanted to say smash that button because
there we go.
Cool. Yeah. So, there was a clip that I sent in our chat room. It's about a 1.5-minute long clip, and it's from an interview that was done a couple days ago with Sean Hannity and former President Donald Trump. If you could find that, Phil, so that we could play it, or if you're not able to, because I know Kevin normally did that. So if you're not, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll just describe it. So Sean Hannity had asked former President Trump. He said, he kind of made the point. He's like, people in the media, I'm paraphrasing here, folks, so don't bust my balls if I'm not quoting properly. People in the media have portrayed him as a dictator. So Sean Hannity asked him, he's like, you're not going to be a dictator, are you, if you win re-election? So Trump very candidly said, no, of course not, except on day one.
Oh.
Yeah. And he says, when I'm going to do all these different things, I'm going to kick these people out, and I'm going to do, yes. And so listen, clearly it was said, in jest. Now, I'm the first person to say there's a hint of truth behind every joke, right?
Oh yeah.
And the media has lost their ever-loving minds over this.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only imagine. Lost it. And you can go do quick searches for this on YouTube and listen to it yourself, folks. My question, Lori, for you and Phil, is to have a man running for president make a comment like that. Does it give you pause? Does it make you think in your head, oh, maybe dude's serious. Maybe he really is going to kind of go that direction. What do you think? How does it make you feel, or does it make you feel anything?
So at first blush, to be totally honest, I have not had time to look at the video.
That's okay.
So
I only watched it an hour before we went on air tonight, so.
I kind of agree with you. It's probably in jest, but at the same time, there's probably a big shred of truth behind it, because I know that some of the things that have come out since Trump lost was that, he should have cleaned house more.
Yes, I firmly believe that.
So I think that's kind of the shred of truth. And I think that he would probably go back in and by executive order, change all the executive orders that Biden did on the first day of his presidency.
And I think
a
lot of presidents, if not most, do that.
I think they do. I think we just never have had that visibility before until Trump.
Right.
Because everybody on the other side of the aisle, the Democrat side of the aisle, the left, whatever you want to say, I think they were really freaked out. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Status quo is no longer status quo.
Yeah. And it was interesting tonight because there was a debate on News Nation this evening between the four candidates, Vivek Ramaswamy, Chris Christie, governor of Florida, DeSantis. And Haley.
Nikki
Haley. Yeah. And so just the four of them. So we've really whittled down to me, these are the four most serious candidates anyway. Right. But it was interesting because Chris Christie has really set himself up as the anti-Trump, right?
Yes.
Like
yes.
Everything about Trump is horrible. It's evil. It's bad. And I'm here I don't see how he has a shot in hell of winning anything with that attitude.
I don't even care about him producing himself as anti-Trump. If anybody remembers how he shut down the bridge.
The bridge, yes. I am waiting for somebody to make a comment about the bridge.
Do you know what happened as a result?
Everybody in the
tri-state area. So like if you live in New Jersey and you work in one of the tri-states, not in New Jersey, there's no more reciprocity for your income tax withholding. So now you're paying two states. You have to pay for the state you live in, New Jersey, and the state you work in,
and which is like Pennsylvania.
Yeah. They all pulled their reciprocity. Yeah.
Wow.
It's ugly. And can you imagine being a resident of New Jersey? Everything's hunky-dory. You go across the bridge, you work wherever, everything's good. You're only paying one state income tax withholding.
Right.
And then this governor decides to have a power trip and closes down the bridge. And in retaliation.
That's what that came to, didn't it?
Yes.
It was just a straight up power trip, right?
And in retaliation, the residents of New Jersey who work out of New Jersey now do not have reciprocity. So they pay double taxation
now
on the same income.
I remember the event and I remember the negative press that it got, but I do not remember any of the details around it. Do you remember any of the details around it?
To be honest, no.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give out bad information, but I know that it came down to something where he got pissy over something. So he shut the bridge down.
I want to say it was like who was supposed to repair what part of the bridge or something like that. It was really minute, something that did not need to come to that.
Right. It was really kind of one of those who has the bigger penis moments.
Yeah. Or who is Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it. And I was like, it's not you, Chris Christie.
Yeah. And
you're going to get shot.
And you know, the thing to me, he became so transparent because he lobbied Donald Trump in 2016 for a position in his cabinet.
He kissed the ring.
He did. And he really lobbied publicly. And as soon as Trump said no and picked somebody else, he flipped on a dime.
Yep.
It was Donald Trump is this and he's that and he's crooked all this. Like it was just so obvious,
right?
At least to me, and he's been nothing but that since. And you know that's fine. He has every right to be that way. It just seems incredibly disingenuous. Like because Trump, you didn't pick me, so now he's got a real axe to grind, right?
Right.
And so you know that is what it is. You know, DeSantis is serious, but there's just something missing in him.
He's really wooden.
You think so? Is that good?
He's so prepared that he can't be loose.
Oh, that's a good point.
You know, and I totally get it because when I see him, I see myself. When I see him up there answering and talking, I see myself in meetings where I can come across very reserved, very wooden.
Gotcha.
You know, because of the serious nature of what I do for my work.
Right.
So I try to, loosen up. That's why one of my meetings I have each week, people have to leave the meeting giving a dad joke so that we can all loosen up.
Everybody can have a smile on their face when the meeting is over.
But I see that with DeSantis, and I, to be totally honest, I don't know how he gets past that. And there
is true charisma that is needed, I think, to win a presidential race.
I mean, that's something that Barack Obama had.
Oh, ton of it.
He was such a green freshman senator and becomes president,
but
because
captivating as all get out, right?
Yes, he was very oratorical. He could talk. He could, he could do anything, and he was so good off the cuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and that actually has been a problem for Biden. I mean,
totally.
Biden's off the cuff, but not in a good way.
And I would say the one thing about Obama that really was responsible for helping him win was he was authentic.
Yes.
Right? You didn't
Yes.
get the impression listening to him that it was canned. The stuff that he was saying
No.
was canned. So, but anyway, so when we get back, we will talk about. And listen, let's do me a favor. I got to go shake a dew off of Lily. So let's not bring us back live during the break here. Okay, outlawradionetwork.com. I did it. All right, back after this. love this song on Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
So much fun. So much fun. I fail miserably, but you know.
I went to my cousin's house last night for dinner.
Yeah.
And share some bread recipes and all that. I did not realize
you broke bread.
We broke bread.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
She made an amazing chocolate sourdough bread. But anyways, I digress.
Seriously?
Yes.
Well, that sounds good.
Yes, I'll have to bring some in on
fudge. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry. She had this drum set in her living room. And I did not realize that Guitar Hero or Band or whatever for Xbox 360 came with like a full drum set.
Yeah, full ensemble and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Had no clue.
Cool.
So
and
yeah.
you can, like, we used to have party when I was younger. We'd have parties, man. The beard be flowing, and we'd have like 5 or 6 people taking turns playing Guitar Hero and playing all the musical instruments, because it's the closest we ever got to, you know, being on stage and actually playing music and all of that stuff. So, all right. So this next one, fascinating as all get out, and my opinion on this when we get to it might surprise some
Hello.
people. It sounded like something. Did you hear that noise? There was
Excuse me.
There was a noise in the background.
I didn't hear it. Oh goodness! Seriously?
Oh, God has graced us with His presence. Clearly,
or He thinks He is.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
Well,
hello.
Most everyone who sees him says, "Oh God."
Right.
Let me ask a question. Why are you guys talking video games when I'm not in studio? Like, you wait until the video game master is gone, and then we're going to talk about Rock Band and crap. Like, what?
Hey, Kevin, you're right. That's a really good point. And you are a video game master. Who won the last time we played Madden football?
Oh, here it comes.
Twice in the same night.
I mean, you're going back over a year ago there, Pollywog. So I don't, I mean, at some point you've got to be a little current with your
52 to 25. 52 to 25 was the final score.
I don't have any. Do you have any documentation to support that?
Well, I'm pretty sure Lori was standing right there.
I don't believe she was.
I actually was not. It was another person with brown hair.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Who's
who's in the Cornhusker state now.
Yep.
Sorry, Paul.
Yeah.
I try to.
No,
back
that's
you up. But
okay. I wouldn't want you to lie on my account.
I think you posted some video. Did you not?
No, because I was playing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe she did.
Yeah.
I know there's some VR video as well. I've
that's
seen that.
definitely of me. Well, and that's me scared out of my wits.
Video.
Yeah.
There's a VR video of Paul with the Oculus on his face.
Yeah.
Like,
and my fear of heights totally took
like
over.
100 stories up in the air.
Yes.
And he looked like he was going to pee himself.
Yes, completely. Speaking of VR,
yeah.
in this mall, there is a new business that is opening up, and it is a big multiplayer VR space. So they took what used to be the antique mall and opened it up into multiple virtual reality playing stations. Have you seen that, Kevin?
I've seen it, but I don't. They've also got a sign on the office space across from the radio station too. So I don't know what they're doing.
I think they're setting that up for a secondary like group play, and I think
maybe
or private party place. Excuse me.
Okay.
You know, like birthday parties, stuff like that. And the
you,
one outside in the antique mall is
like the main one.
Yeah, it's different stations, and I've actually seen people in there. It's kind of weird to watch.
So because
it's. I don't know.
I will
it's
tell
just
you,
weird.
if you've never done it, do it. It's worth it. It is so immersive.
I always wonder what games they play.
Oh boy!
I mean, to even know what, it's VR. Like, great. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Taking a walk in Central
For
Park,
sure. Well,
or you're playing Halo?
Let me tell you. I bought one for my kids. It was a Darth Vader game, right? And you're using a lightsaber. Like your controller is a lightsaber. I mean, it's like there's I've got one that's World War I fighter planes where you're in the biplanes.
Oh,
and
that would be fun.
That is a lot of fun because you've got one controller as your stick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to work that stick, and the other one is your machine gun. I mean, it's just it's so immersive that until you do it, it's hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody is good at working that stick, it's St. Paul, the voice of reason.
Oh, okay, Mister. I'm single for the 74th year in a row. Listen, you got no need to be busting my balls over none of this stuff. We all love you, okay? You there, Kevin?
Hey,
you
did
okay?
you
I'm gonna.
Yes.
Can I ask an actual topic question really quick?
Yes, you can.
Did you guys discuss Donald
Kerfluffle.
Trump's interview or town hall with Hannity?
Yes, we just finished it last segment. We haven't even
Okay, I
started.
missed it.
We haven't even started the new segment, the new topic yet. So if you want to pipe in on it, please go ahead.
No, he continues to astound me, Trump, with his just blatant disregard for normal conversation, normal answers to questions, normal relatability with an audience. Like most people that are running for office construct their narrative in a way that's going to work well for those receiving it.
Yes, because they want to give off an impression, and he just don't care what people thinks of him. That's
yeah.
for sure.
Trump is like, piss it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Hannity asked him, "Can you guarantee the American people that you're not going to be a dictator?" And Trump's response was, "Yeah, except for day one."
Right.
But
nobody else would do that, but Trump will do that.
But do you think he's doing it for ratings?
No, I think he's braggadocious for ratings and attention regardless. But, he said on day one he's going to shut down the borders and he's going to drill. And I firmly believe that on day one, if he's elected president, that's exactly what he'll do. So there's an element of, give me some attention and, let's keep people talking about me. But I don't think he's lying. I mean, I think that's exactly what he's going to do.
That's pretty much the conclusion we came to, that behind every joke, yes, he was joking, but behind every joke, a hint of truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Phil?
Yeah. I would say definite hyperbole there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
Like,
but
exaggerating to make a point.
Yeah. But but why become all upset over it? I mean, it's not Trump saying anything he hasn't said 100 times before.
No, and I don't think I think Donald Trump could say "God bless you" after somebody sneezes, and a segment of our population would be offended because Trump said it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's not even about his message now. It's just about the fact that Orange Man said it.
Yes, it
is. And
is.
I was thinking,
we made the comment. We made the comment years ago, Kevin, that if Donald Trump rode a boat out to save somebody that was drowning, right? The story wouldn't be Donald Trump saves drowning child. The story would be Donald Trump can't swim. That's how the media is. There are still people out there convinced Donald Trump colluded with Russia. And the media wants that. They like that. They want people to still think that, right? I mean, I don't know what percentage is. It's probably small, 5%, but there is definitely a percentage of the population that still believes it. And they will tell you it's never been disproved.
You think it's only 5%?
I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
I think it's hold on, let me think about this, right? So 40% of Americans, give or take, are open supporters of Trump.
Right.
Let's remove that from the equation. Let's take 45% out. That leaves another 55%. And probably 25% of those are independents or Democrats that actually pay attention to the news. So I'm going to say the number's 30%. That still think that Trump colluded with Russia because they get their news and information from MSNBC or CNN that don't report that the whole Steele dossier was already proven to be BS.
Right. Phil?
Yeah.
Oh, Trump has got the religious population in his court. I don't know that I agree with that.
She had a question mark, so I assume it's a question.
He used to. I'm not sure
you're
that
right.
he still does.
I do believe he used to have the evangelical vote.
Yeah, I think DeSantis has that right now because of his stance on abortion.
Yeah. And listen, and people that have a moral compass probably would honestly. Well, I mean, it's not that people don't have a moral. Let me rephrase that because that came out wrong. If you have, depending upon your moral compass, you probably find it hard to vote for Trump. Mr. Married, divorced, cheated on his wife, grab him by the hoo-ha comment. I mean, he's done plenty to dissuade people with a certain moral compass. Isn't that a fair statement, Kevin?
No, I think you're totally wrong, and I'll tell you why. Because if the option is Trump or Biden, and you've watched the Biden administration push transgender this, push transgender that, those with a moral tinge are going to have a hard time choosing between the two. And right or wrong, the perception is that Republicans are a more quote unquote moralistically bent,
morally
political
virtuous,
persuasion.
yeah, moral. But here,
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about the general election. I was referring to
okay.
now during the primaries, but
during
still
primary season.
Yeah, but because I don't think it is a foregone conclusion that Trump wins the nomination. I am not in the it is a foregone conclusion Trump is the nominee camp. I am not there. Ask me that in 6 months, but not right now, because I don't think Chris Christie has a shot because he's anti-Trump, but I think the other three all have maybe not quite. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't think Vivek Ramaswamy really has a shot, but he can be a hell of a disruptor. Chris Christie, I think, has no shot. Because I think probably a good half of the people that are wanting to vote for Trump are going to peel away like me and look for somebody else within the Republican Party to vote for. Like, I don't know who I'm going to vote for yet in the run up in the primaries, right? Like I'm right now I'm leaning towards Nikki Haley, or Ron DeSantis. I don't know. So see,
Interesting.
John Walker says, from what I watched of the debate tonight, Nikki Haley shined. Ramaswamy went overboard with his antics, especially against Haley. That doesn't surprise me. I caught bits and pieces of it. And that doesn't surprise me. And that's why I have a hard time having Ramaswamy. I liked Ramaswamy for the first couple months, but he couldn't shut up and get out of his own way.
Yeah. And I'm going to bring up something that is kind of interesting. They're both from the same ancestral roots.
Both from with Indian roots.
But within different states of India.
Yes.
And they're very, very divided, or he seems to be very divided against her, whatever. I'm wondering if there's a little bit of cultural.
It's a great question. It's a really great
question.
Disparity
between them.
I don't think so, Lori, not to pee on your beehive, but I think Ramaswamy is realizing who the only threat is in that field that he's on the stage with, and that's Haley. I mean, DeSantis's candidacy is dead. That guy couldn't get support from literally anybody. I think Ramaswamy sees Haley as the only real threat and decided, well, I'm going to have to go after the big dog. And I don't think it worked.
Because of her donors or her neocon positions?
She has just picked up some seriously large donor class people recently in the last week.
Well, and I think it's donor, but you know what? I also think it's the polls, right? I mean, she continues to poll well.
Yep.
And she's gonna poll much better with moderates and independents than DeSantis is.
What would that say, Kevin? Let me ask you, what would it say if the first woman elected president is a Republican and
Bazinga.
a minority?
Well, okay, hold on. Listen, this us attributing minority status to everybody because they have.
I'm just the Democrats say it, dude. I'm just kind of going with the flow.
I know. It's disgusting. It gets back to, what was that? Elizabeth Warren, because she's 1/1000th Native American. Now
that's
she's
1/1027th.
Yeah. So I don't want to get into all that. I'm not even going to get into minority speak. But what does it say? I don't know if it says anything. I mean, it says that the Republicans had a woman who could be elected, right? I mean,
I thought it would say that clearly Republicans are more accepting of women and minorities if that's what happens. Isn't that what that says?
No, that's not what it says at all. You know why? Here's why. The Democrats have not put up a woman for president that was electable.
What was Hillary
Clinton?
Clinton?
I mean, She wasn't electable, dude. We talked about this before.
Well,
you know,
yeah, but I'm
got-
going to make you say it. I want you to feel uncomfortable and sweaty, man. And yeah, you go ahead, Kevin.
Nothing about Hillary makes me sweaty. She wasn't electable, and she wasn't likable. She wasn't relatable. She wasn't electable. She wasn't tolerable. You know what I mean? And so I think all it says is the Republicans were smart. They found a candidate who is electable, and Nikki Haley is certainly electable.
Yes, and she's charismatic. She's an excellent speaker. I think that's the biggest knock on DeSantis is there is something about his voice and the authority with which he speaks that just to me isn't there.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's just when I listen to him.
Kind of like the hall monitor from school.
Yeah, there's just I listen to him speak and I just feel like there's nothing behind it, and his voice, like, it gets higher and goes up an octave when he's trying to make up. I don't know, it just look, he could do the job, but he was up in the polls and everybody really liked him, and the idea of him running versus Donald Trump, until what? Something happened. I can't even tell you what, just something happened.
I think it was the first debate. He didn't have a good showing.
Yeah, could have been. Kevin, what makes DeSantis, what's making him lag behind? He's governor of Florida. He won overwhelmingly. He delivered that state for Republicans, and the people of Florida absolutely love him. So why isn't he getting traction on a national level? My gut tells me it's something to do with how he sounds, how he speaks. People just don't have the confidence in him.
I think you're probably right on that, but I also think he suffers from K-Dog syndrome.
He was Navy.
I think he suffers from K-Dog syndrome.
Really?
Right? Yeah, which is there was a lot of hype behind him in the beginning.
Like K-Dog.
Everyone was talking about, but everyone was talking about he was the heir apparent. He was the guy that was going to take Trump's crown. He was going to be all that in a bag of chips. And what happened? Nothing. Like, he just fell short. He couldn't live up to the hype. That's the K-Dog syndrome.
I don't understand. What do you mean he fell short? He delivered Florida in a monumental way. It was a massive.
No, I'm talking about between that and when he announced his candidacy for president. When he announced his candidacy for president, everyone had him as Trump's big threat. And I think people expected him, ignore my dogs, I'm going to punt them. I think people expected him to come out and wow them. I think people expected DeSantis to come out on a stage and wow them. Like they wanted to anoint him as the king.
Yes, I swear. I think it's his voice and his mannerisms and his tone, and it's lacking. It lacks confidence. It lacks just the things that you need and expect to hear from somebody that's going to rule the free world. As much as I hate to say it, I think it's probably the biggest thing that's holding back Kennedy. Like, people need to hear that level of confidence and vigor and strength when they hear somebody talk. It's one of the things that we were talking earlier. Barack Obama was so excellent at. I felt George Bush was a little bit weak at it. Donald Trump, excellent at it. Joe Biden, well, he has to put two words together to make it work. But
and I mean, like, Bill Clinton was very folksy. So people
very confident when you heard him speak, right?
Right. And so people felt like they got to know him.
Yeah.
Not really.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
no, not really. No, but Lori, you're absolutely correct. I mean, one of the things about Clinton that made him likable, and I think Obama as well, was just a relatability factor, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, logically, that you have no idea what these schmucks are really like in the real world, right? Right. But if they were able to portray themselves in such a way, even Paul said, right? Paul, you've even said, I'd love to have a beer with Obama.
Yeah, I'd much. If you put me in a bar and Donald Trump was at one end and Barack Obama was at the other, I would naturally gravitate towards Barack Obama and have a beer with him because he seems much more relatable, much more likable. Like you could have a conversation. Yeah. Whereas I think Donald Trump sucks the air out of a room. And I just his ego and his bloviating, and I'd be like, just shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah. And he has the answer for everything.
Yes, right. Because we know people like that. We definitely
his
know.
Name is Paul.
You know what I'm talking about. I mean, don't get stuck in a jam. Where when you talk about them, or you're having a conversation, and they always can relate to that because they've had a similar experience. Theirs was always bigger and badder and more colorful, and so that just those kinds of people, right? Like,
Jammer. I know who you're talking about. Jammer.
It's whatever happens, don't say the name on freaking radio, dipshit, man. But it's hard. I can get along with those people just fine, but there's a point with people like that where you hear them speaking and you just go, oh, he's full of crap. And at that moment, you just can't take anything they see seriously, like ever again, ever.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, we had a Muay Thai fighter in here sitting where Phil's sitting right now, and he was exactly the same way. That little Muay Thai fighter, man, you would have swore he was telling you the story of Rob Van Dam and Bloodsport. Oh, wait, he was. And trying to say that it was his own story, So anyway, it is what it is. Hey, brother, we only got a few minutes left. Kevin, what do you see coming up in the next week? Because we were about to talk about this story. And the title of it is Joe Biden raises the specter of American troops having to fight Russians in Europe if Congress stands by and allows Ukraine to fall. Thoughts?
Well, I don't have a thought on it yet. I don't have a thought on it yet, and here's why. Time that Biden has come out and tried to scare Congress into doing something in regard to this Ukraine situation. So my initial belief is that Congress will see right through it. Republicans are not going to hand him a victory on that bill, especially not as we lead up to an election year. I don't know if I think he's wrong. Right? I mean, let's be honest. If Ukraine falls, what does that mean? What does that mean for the rest of Western Europe? What does that mean for Latvia and Lithuania and Estonia and Poland?
Let me tell you what let me tell you what it'll mean. And I mean this with all due sincerity. It means the war will stop. Here's why I say that. Because Ukraine is using hand-me-down Western gear, but learned from Western troops how to use it and how to fight this war and how to execute it, okay? And they were a bunch of farmers with pitchforks when this thing started, and they fought the mighty Russian bear to a standstill. I don't think Russia wants any piece of NATO now. Because if you're Russia and you just got your butt handed to you and fought to a stalemate using your gear and your equipment, if you're Russian, if you're Vladimir Putin, do you think you stand anything remotely resembling a chance at all against NATO and Western troops and Western gear and equipment?
No, but I think you're wrong. I think that what Putin is trying to do right now is exactly what Hitler did in the 30s, where he's trying to recoup land that he believes the Soviet Union should have never lost in the first place.
Fair. That's fair. And that's been part of our conversation for the last 2 years. I'm there with you. Yeah.
And do I think he imminently screws with NATO? No. But I think there's a whole bunch of other stands out there that he has an opportunity to mess with.
Well, and I think to add to your point, I think a lot of what he does is going to depend on China. If China decides that it's time for them to go take Taiwan, then I think that emboldens Russia.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know. I listen. Listen. Did you hear what Biden said yesterday? Where he said on a mic live for people to hear.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
He said he probably wouldn't run for office.
Oh,
he wouldn't run for re-election.
Yes.
But Donald Trump is running, and it's a threat to democracy.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That I cannot believe a sitting president would say something so bewilderingly stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't think his sales pitch is going to do anything with Congress. I don't think the Republicans care, and you're not going to pass anything through there without Republican support.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why the Republicans are so hesitant to support Ukraine militarily, but I don't think any of his ramblings is going to make a difference. They're going to have to make some deals is what they're going to have to do. The Republicans want to fully fund Israel And the Democrats are probably going to come back and say, okay, fine, we'll help you with funding Israel, but you got to help us in funding Ukraine, and they're going to have to reach like a compromise.
Right. And let me throw this out there. Like, a lot of people aren't aware of the precarious nature. Like in the Western Hemisphere, right? We've pretty much steered clear of a lot of these conflicts. But right now, you're on the cusp of another invasion, of another small war starting in South America. Were you aware of that?
No.
Venezuela has their troops poised on the border, and they're talking about invading Guyana.
Really?
Yeah. So, isn't
that where Guyana pigs come from?
Guinea pigs?
No.
Yeah. Don't they come from Guyana? Are those Guyana pigs?
No, I think they come from hell, because those things are the worst pets in the world.
Well,
hold on, let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
let me ask you a question.
Make it quick.
Venezuela
We've got 1
Guyana.
minute. We've got 1 minute left, so make it quick.
Yeah, Venezuela goes into Guyana. Do we get involved? Is that our fight? I mean, are you all Monroe Doctrine about it?
I think it's not our fight, but we're talking about the potential for BRICS nations becoming involved in armed conflict, which means the potential for Russian military personnel on American soil. So maybe.
And it's about
oil.
know
that China and Russia would both love to.
Exactly.
You know that China and Russia would both love to have a foothold.
Absolutely,
oil,
absolutely.
Oil.
Hey, want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight with Outlaw Radio Network.
.com.
.com. We hear you, Kevin. Shut up! I hate you. Outlaw Radio Network. Have a good week, everybody.
Yep.
Good night. Peace out. Tschüss. Bis später. Adios, muchachos.
.com.